Hey guys, it's Tark with Cyclone FPV, and I'm actually putting a video together, a video series for the York Middle School drone students, part of Coach Stafford's drone program. And I know you guys were sent home early. You got the coronavirus issue, the COVID-19, and therefore you couldn't come back to school and finish your drone. So I was asked to put a video together to complete the assembly, and I'm going to do that. That's what I'm doing right now, but I'm actually starting from the very beginning. So we're going to start with frame assembly, and there's a reason for it. Is I saw some of you guys who had already done your frame assemblies, and the problem is that you hadn't gotten to the camera yet, right? And so the camera may make you change the way you do your frame assembly. So I'm just going to show you a couple options here real quickly, and I'm going to show you how we do it. So right here, basically, we run picture-in-picture, so you'll see something more like this. And here's the mount where I'll be working, and then here's my ugly face right here, okay? So for those of you guys, I've already taken the frame apart on this one example because you have this camera here, this AOM camera, and it comes with a metal stand, right? Now, if you haven't put this stand on yet, then you're going to have kind of a hard time if you've already assembled your frame. However, I am going to make some 3D printed mounts that allow you to slide them over the standoffs that are going to go right here, and you can just have your camera fastened like that, okay, and that won't be a problem. But if you did want to use the metal stand, then you'll have to take your frame apart. I mean, at least that's the way I would recommend is you have to take your frame apart, because what we're going to do is very easily, we're just going to run a zip tie. We're going to run it from the outside and through the hole here, and then from the outside through the hole here, and we're going to run it through this area here, and that'll hold it in place as well. Let me show you what I'm talking about. But you have to move it past these two sections, or else you're going to hit these standoff holes, okay? So basically what you would do is you take a zip tie, if you have one, come up through this slot here, okay? And then come up through that larger slot in the mount, and then make sure you go through this hole right here and over that piece of carbon fiber that separates the slot from the center, just like that, okay? And then you can zip tie one side. That'll hold it in place while you get the other zip tie ready. And this is just if you want to use the metal mount. Now, if you don't care to use that, then we're going to get to building this frame very quickly. But I'm going to leave this in here just because, and then I'll also do the 3D printed mount for you guys. And then you guys can come back to the website and get that. So again, from this side, we're going to start from the outside. Okay, go up through the slot of the camera mount. Sorry, let me make sure I have this turned right. From the slot, camera mount, go up, and then come back through that center hole. There we go. Pull that through, and we can zip tie this. Okay, see, so my zip tie is twisted here, so I've got it backwards now. So let me just kind of, I'll try to flip it around here if I can. This happens. When you use thinner zip ties, this can happen, but that's all right. Just hold it in place, I guess, and try to stop it from flipping. Pass it through that center hole there, just like that. There, okay, that should be right. And then go ahead and zip tie this side too. And then once you get this aligned center, now you can use screws, I mean, but I don't know if you guys have any, and it may be easier for you to get zip ties, although this would take an M2 screw, I think, to make it work, but you can zip tie it, it'll be fine for now. So just kind of, once you get it in the center, and you can eyeball that, just tighten your zip ties down, and there you go, right? So now we have our camera mount in place, and with the zip ties, we can kind of slide it back and forth. So if you haven't done this yet, and I'm hoping this frame is going to, it should be just enough gap for the zip tie to close. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. So then just cut your ends off here. Okay, just like that, like that. All right, so we've got our camera mount. It's a temporary camera mount, but it's there in place for the time being. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to get our screws ready for our flight controller and our ESC, right? So we're going to go into these center holes right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this in first, just like that. And you could get something to hold it in place. I'm going to use like a nylon fastener here. All right, and I think some of you guys have these, but go ahead and just put on your nylon fasteners there. That should hold it in place. I don't think the screwdriver is going to fit that. No. All right, so just kind of tighten it there. And you're going to need 3 more. So here's some nylon fasteners. And these are, let me see. These are 20 millimeter screws. All right, so nylon fastener there. Let's put one here. Because once you put the bottom plate on, you can't fit these in again. Okay, guys? So you have to put all this stuff on prior to putting that bottom plate on and putting the arms on. Now, if you've already assembled this and you've got this done, don't worry about it. I mean, you've got the screws on right. So as far as the camera mount goes, like I said, we're going to give you some, I'll design a 3D mount that will work to slip over these standoffs. And then basically you just slip it over and then you can fasten the camera to it. So you don't have to worry about taking the frame apart if you don't want to. But I want to show you both options just in case, okay? So again, this is just part 1 of the video, which most of you have already done, which is building your frame. But for those of you that haven't or who want to start over and make sure it's done right, or double check your work, that is, then just follow this procedure and you'll be fine. All right, so once we get our nylon mounts in there, our nylon fasteners in there, now we know the screws aren't going to move. And now we can get to putting the arms in, right? So you got these arms right here, and the arms are going to measure about 3 millimeters in thickness, and we're just going to put them in where they go. So they're obviously going to go here on the four spots here and here. There's nothing else that you really need to worry about mounting right now, so let's go ahead and line it up. And then what I would do is I would go ahead, now you've got these, which I believe are 12 millimeter screws. Pop one through, and we're going to do corners right now, okay? So we're only going to do 2 per arm so we can get this fastened. The bottom plate is the same to the top plate. There's no difference between the two, so just go ahead and whichever one, as long as you're using those two. This is the top plate right here. When I refer to the bottom and top plate here, I'm referring to the middle plate here and the bottom plate, which at this point is the top plate of the arm. So the 2 identical arm plates is what you're going to be using. Put that in just like that, and you can take your lock nut tighteners right here and screw those on. Let me get that. Let me get that in place. These screws are kind of long, actually. You can use them. I'm just going to go with a shorter screw so that I can keep notes of what was needed. I'm going to try a 10 millimeter because you've got 3 and then you got 6. Let's see what a 10 millimeter looks like. That's just going to be for me to. Yeah, I think the 10 mil might look better, but we'll see. That's not gonna lock through actually. All right, so we'll stick with the 12 and keep it like it is so that we can use the locking fastener. So 12 millimeter, just like this. Line that up. Okay, now you don't have to tighten this just yet, right? Because you're going to need to move this arm just a little bit to line the next screw in. So we're going to go to the corner, the opposite corner now, okay? So don't go in this order, just go in opposite corner for the time being. Put the next fastener in right there. And again, you don't have to tighten it down. Let's just get all the arms put in place first. So now we'll go to the front, line it up again. Go. Again, we're going to do corners. Okay, then let's go to the next one. Okay, so hold on, hang tight. I just realized that you guys have to put the standoffs in before this. My apologies. So go ahead, let's just stop right there. Just dawned on me that we still have the standoffs to put in and there's no spacers for those. So let's go ahead and take that apart real quickly. Glad this was seen ahead of time. So I forgot that we got to put your standoffs in first. Sorry guys, there's two series of this frame. One of them has a larger hole in the bottom of one of the plates, so you can put the screw right through it, and I forgot this one doesn't. So let's go ahead and grab our standoffs first. My apologies. So let's go ahead and just take those screws, those are 6 millimeter screws, and just tighten your standoffs. You can hand tighten those. And you're going to put them on these 2 holes here first to start. Wow, forgot that this frame is a little different. My apologies. Let's go ahead and knock that out. All right. Okay, and I'm not editing these videos because I want to get them out to you guys as quick as possible. And then we're going to do the 2 front ones here, right in front of this camera mount. Perfect. So that'll fit nicely right around that camera frame. If you guys chose to put that on there, and if not, then no big deal. So let me get that fastened real quick. All right. And here's this one. Over. Okay, that'll work. Just slide this camera mount back just a little bit like that. Okay, and then based on this, we're gonna have looks like we're gonna have 2 more, one here, one set there, one set there. So let's go ahead and put this screw right here. Okay, now we can go to get ready to put the bottom plate in. All right. So what I'll do is just take your screwdriver, your hex screwdriver, what have you, and just kind of tighten these down a little bit. Make sure they're on there really good. All right. They should be fine though. And you can fit the screwdriver in after you've put the bottom plate on. You just can't put the screw in. So the screwdriver is made to fit past the hole. All right. So now that it's done, now we can go to the bottom plate. Sorry. Now we're going to go back to doing what we did with the arms. So again, let's put the screws in here, and we're going to do corners again. Put the first one in. There we go. And then let's go ahead and just line the bottom plate up. Get the first one mounted. And now we'll just finish what we were doing. And again, we're just going to finger tighten these. We're not going to do anything with the tools just yet, because we still have to make sure all the arms get in place. If you tighten it, it becomes a little bit harder to do. Get this hole lined up. There we go. Okay, and let's get the second one here. Again, we're going to go cross corner right there. Okay, let's go to the third arm. And then we'll do the last screw on this one here. Again, go cross corner on it. And then we have the last arm to go. Okay. Now once we get these in place and we're sure everything fits and lines up, then we can go ahead and start tightening this down and put the other screws in. But we'll put the other ones in first before we tighten it down, just to make sure we don't have anything off just a little bit. All right, so let me just line that up. Some of these screws out here. All right. Okay. All right, so there we go. Now that we've got this lined up, kind of, you can see where the camera is here. This is going to be our front, so this is what we're going to refer to the front from now on. So now what we can do is just go ahead and start dropping in the other screws. And they should all kind of just fall in easily now. And then what we'll do is we'll tighten it all down, okay? So let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, so just keep your fingers on the screws there. Just kind of lightly put on the fasteners. All right, and then we'll tighten. Once these are all on, we'll go ahead and tighten all of it down. Let me just get the rest of these out of the way. There we go. There we go. All right, next one here. Go. All right, and the last two right here. Okay, so everything's in. So now grab your screwdrivers and whatever you're going to use to hold the fastener in place, and just start tightening them down. And just, again, just keep it going cross corner on these. And I'll do 2 per arm, and then I'll come back and do the other 2. All right, so you do them how you wish, but I just want to make sure I get these done. I like to do everything evenly, so we'll do 2 screws for each arm, and then we'll come back and do the remaining 2 that haven't been tightened yet, but you can do all 4 if you wish. All right, now we're going to do the last 2 on each arm, and you're pretty much done at this point, and we can get started with mounting our first piece of hardware. Oh my goodness, come on. There we go. Now you won't put the top plate on, obviously, which is going to be held together with some 8mm screws or 6mm screws or whatever was in this kit, because we have to finish. So this plate right here is going to be part of the last video, so don't worry about that. Just set that aside for now, because we still have to finish building everything else, and then I'll show you how that's going to play into it, okay? All right, guys, that does it right there. So what you should have now is pretty much should look like this. Now, whether you have the camera plate on or not is probably the only variable here. The rest of it is all set up. And we can, like I said, I'm going to make the mounts here for you to put the camera on this. So if you don't have this mounted, don't worry about it. Okay, you can see on the website here as soon as this video is done. As soon as we're done with the entire series, you'll be able to find that. So again, all you have left now is this top plate, which will go on when we're done. But for right now, there you go. That's your setup. Okay, so let's do this. So there's your frame, guys. That's the beginning of it. That's the QAV 250. Some of you guys are running the SpeedX. I will put something together for you on the SpeedX as well, but that one's pretty self-explanatory too. This one was the one that I wanted to make sure. I think we had more of these out there, so I want to make sure I address this first. So the next video is going to be starting with the ESC. That's going to be the first thing that we go with. So make sure to get your JHEMCU ESC out, and we'll get started with that, okay? Guys, if you have any questions about this, I know it's a lot to take in, and I'm going to try my best to make sure you understand it all. Please go to our website and then use the contact page right there. You can see the address below, and I'll help you out as best I can. Otherwise, we're going to get to part 2 now, okay? So we'll see you soon. Bye.